So, welcome to this video. It's just gonna be me rambling about self-improvement. I'm having some notes here right now, which I want to go through, and this is gonna basically be about I'm gonna go through my story, and it's gonna be really, really raw. I'm not gonna edit anything unless I just cut something up. But it's just gonna be about my story, what self-improvement have done to me. I still haven't mastered it, and how this has affected me, in long term, because I also run a business on the side, as people do know. And yeah, I just want to go through it because I feel like there's been some different opinions on it, and I want to also share mine, even though I'm not the master, as said. I just want to share my own thoughts and what I've learned from it, and yeah, basically go from there. So, personal story. I started this kind of chapter in my life or journey where I wanted to grow. I wanted to be better. I wanted to start my business and doing all that stuff, and that was around like a year ago. And the reason why I did so was because I felt unfulfilled. Like when I had a normal job, I had a part-time job. I really didn't feel like it was a part of me because, sure, I can say that I didn't like being under someone or like having a boss, basically. Even though that's kind of egocentric or pretty normal to say, but I feel like that's a common issue that most people have if they want to start something themselves. But yeah, I would say I was kind of those kind of people who say that. And I didn't feel like I lived up to my potential, because at that time I didn't know, I didn't have the best language in terms of speaking English, doing all that stuff, but I knew that I had, the potential of doing so. And that's also one of the reasons why I also started my own business. I have a business partner as well. His name is Jay. He also posts on YouTube, by the way, so go check him out. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that. Basically, the reason why I did, make this change for personal growth and starting a business is basically because I want to give something back to the people that have given something to me, like my parents, my friends, my sister, basically family, and I think most people do look at it that way because in the end it's about treating your family good, giving something back, because let's be honest, most people have, gotten what they wanted in their, youth. But yeah, I'm just talking for myself right now. And I basically want to go through what people's opinion are on self-growth or, self-improvement, because people have so much different, opinions on this. Because one is, let's say I can do my business partner Jay. So let's say recently he had one of his videos blow up, and he gained many followers from that one video. And that may cause me thinking like, oh, why does this happen to him? Like, why am I not, the lucky one? Let's put it that way. And I can basically also tell you why I wasn't, because Jay, my business partner, he has been posting now he's been consistent for God know how long. Like, he has posted like 500-600 videos before that one, blew up. Before he has some videos doing pretty decent. Before he had this one just skyrocketing, and I can look at it and saying like, oh, why does this happen to him? Why does it this and this and that, But I need to start looking at myself, because what I do every single day is I need to, always try to get better than I was yesterday, obviously. And I also need to progress on my content being better, because he's way better spoken than me, because he also has, I feel like he's better in English because he's from Australia and Germany, but it's still some barrier there for him as well, because he has this separated parents in terms of one is from Germany and one from Australia, or different family trees basically. But still, it's all about the fact that I need to look at myself and what am I doing every single day to try to get better, and not look at his growth, because no one's growth is linear. Like, I can't look at freaking Alex Ramosi and compare myself to him, because I simply just can't. And self-improvement is the word. I feel like it's been just thrown around, and people look at it differently. and people see like people having massive growth overnight, you know. Let's say that one video that he got like blew up and boom, he has like 10k followers the next day. I can look at it that way, but that is what most people do. Like they look at it that way and they think, why does it not happen to me? And that is the point where you need to think, what can I do to achieve that goal, or what can I do to achieve that level of success that that one person have gotten? Because you need to look, you know, at their past, like what have they done? Have they posted regularly? Have they improved their content over time? What have they actually done? Or you may just ask them, because I feel like in just doing so, you will figure out 10 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times is mostly a personal problem to why you haven't been, you know, why you haven't achieved stuff. It's not a different problem, it's mostly personal, and that's what business and everything is all about as well. And I feel like the reason why most people also succeed is because they stick to something for a long time. So for me, it would be meditating, journaling, you know, reading, going to the gym, you know, 3-4 times a week, and also trying to have a good sleep schedule, even though I'm not mastering that yet. But I'm still practicing, trying to get better, you know, and also setting boundaries for myself, what not to do and what I can do, you know, not watch Netflix on a random Tuesday, you know. There's a bunch of different stuff that comes with this, and I feel like it just teaches you a lot of stuff in terms of how to get more mature over a short period of time, but also long period of time, because you need to look at this in the long run and not the short run, obviously. And also one thing I have realized is that there's nothing called failing. It's just learning, and that is also a perception that people have gotten wrong. People always look at failing as the worst thing that can happen to them. That's wrong, because if you weren't to fail something, you also weren't to learn something. You also weren't to understand that you, let's say you wouldn't fail. Let's say you know, mastered everything, and once upon a time you meet that barrier, you know, you meet a wall, and then you simply don't understand that this is all a part of your journey. Like you don't understand that if it wasn't for this barrier, you probably wouldn't achieve the massive success you will have afterwards. Because what people most often do after they have met, you know, some kind of barrier or roadblock is that they learn from it, because you know what to exactly not do after you met the roadblock. That is one thing you learn. You learn to not do it that way. And I feel like that is what most people should look at when it comes to doing so, because it's so never failing, it's just learning. So stop fearing learning. No, stop fearing failing, because it's not the right word, it's just learning. And I feel like when it comes to doing stuff now in 2024, soon 2025, people are really starting to figure this out and starting to crack the code with, you know, betting on themselves, just actually taking chances and taking action. And I'm happy to see that, because I feel like the generation has been really, really weak in terms of what they could have achieved, you know, because people haven't believed and been comfortable in their self. And I get that, because taking action, taking decisions is hard. People will hate. I've been there myself. And I still would say that people still are hating, even though they aren't strictly saying it to you. It's just, you know, happening in the back. But that is happening in the back. Let it stay there. Everyone that is hating, they obviously have some sort of, you know, they're not happy in their own situation. Let's put it that way. And they need to drag that out on someone else than themselves. So that is why they do it. So the biggest excuses is most people having when it comes to doing stuff like this is, I don't have time, I don't know where to start, and I always give up. And the reason why you have these excuses is because you have made a perception in your mind, or people has basically told you that you're not good enough. So you make time for what matters. Start small, just make 5 minutes count, you know, start reading, start taking a book up, like this one, I'm currently reading it. I should have, you know, been done with it by far, but The Way of the Superior Man is a good book, and I feel like it's not strictly just self-improvement, but it's basically how to be a bit more mature, let's be honest. And I feel like it's one of the things that you should do is to, yeah, that is also a really important thing while I'm remembering it. When you go into this chapter of life, you also need to make sure to always learn, you know, to read stuff, make sure that you educate yourself, because when you start something yourself, you also need to learn stuff yourself. Like, you can't rely on a teacher anymore, you can't rely on someone else than yourself. And that, I feel like, is the most hard thing that you can do also, because when you need to rely on yourself, that is when you show your real self, basically. So if you can rely on yourself, then it's going to be pretty hard, but it's also pretty hard to rely on yourself in the beginning. But just remember that in the beginning, everything is hard, and you gotta get through that chapter before you get to the next chapter in life, obviously. And you will be in a chapter where you feel like you're lonely, you know, the lonely chapter that Chris Williamson talked about, and Alex Ramosi, where you don't fit in with your old type of friends, but you don't really fit in with the new type of friends either. So you're just stuck in this middle chapter where you really don't know if you're good enough or if you're too bad, or if I can explain it that way. It's more that you really don't know if you are on the correct path, if you're doing it right, if you're basically just doubting yourself left and right, and that is all a part of the journey. So just stick through it. Remember that you started for a reason. Always have a big enough why to keep going, and if you do so, you're still gonna, you know, keep going. You're never gonna quit if you have a strong enough why. And for me, I've never really thought about quitting, even though I haven't seen results and stuff like that. And you know, at some point it started to just build up on, you know, the results. And also, I still haven't achieved, you know, the most successful version of myself. Obviously, I'm 20 years old, early. I don't want to say that I'm older than I am. I just turned 20 actually, or a bit over a month ago. So it's not just, but yeah. Remember that when it comes to self-improvement, always just challenge yourself. Try to improve every single day, 1% every single day. And always remember to not quit. There's nothing called failure, it's just learning, and just believe in yourself and you will succeed. So that's basically it.